The Social Security numbers for every American may be at risk after a massive data breach. Fox News correspondent Dana Marie McNichol has more. Let's watch.
Nearly 3 billion personal information records, including names, social security numbers, and addresses, reportedly exposed in what could be the largest data breach in history. The information stolen from National Public Data, a company that collects and sells access to personal information, which is then used by other organizations to obtain things like background checks and criminal records.
We didn't give permission for them to collect that data. We can go opt out if we know the company exists, but there's hundreds of data collection companies out there.
According to a lawsuit filed against NPD, the hackers leaked the information on the dark web, selling it for $3.5 million.
I think people should be very upset about this. They should ask, why is this company, why do they have all of that information? And when they had it, who was making sure that they were protecting it?
The scale of this breach is so extensive that if you live in the U.S., it's likely that some of your data is included. So what can you do? Take simple measures like monitoring your credit report for fraudulent activity, managing your passwords using two-factor authentication when possible, and freezing your credit, which can help prevent scammers from taking out loans or opening new credit cards in your name.
Too few people do the basics right, and so we just make it really easy for cyber criminals to attack us.
In addition to the United States, the hackers in this breach claim that the information was also stolen from people in the UK and Canada. In Miami, Dana Marie McNichol, Fox News.
Dana Marie, thanks so much. So for more on what this means and any advice for people out there who are wondering, was I swept up in this hack? We're going to bring into the conversation our friend Fox News contributor, Kurt Knudsen, the cyber guy. He joins us. Kurt, thanks so much for being with us here. I know you've been following this pretty closely. This is really staggering. Really don't know where to start with this. Okay, how about this? Who did it? Who are the hackers?
Andrew, good question. We know that it's one sort of new hacker to the terrain of doing these kind of breaches. And what's highly unusual is normally they want to hold this hostage and make a lot of money off of it. This instead was just offered for free. So that's even worse for all of us. So in terms of hacks that we have followed in the past, this breach really is about the largest I have ever witnessed. So it goes like this. Am I affected? Well, if you're an American, yeah, pretty much every American's going to be touched by this. And then the question is, how did this happen? How is it that NPD has our data? And, somebody in Dana Marie's story said, oh, I never gave them permission. Well, the chances are you did. But none of us read that fine print. So now we're all sort of stuck in this world where we've said yes to a million things when we download an app or we sign up for a website, on and on. So Andrew, today, what you really want to do is look at how do I extract myself from this? And that's really the trend when you see something like this. The advice is great. Watch your credit reports right now. Okay. Watch them like a hawk, because if something else is going to happen, you'll see it there. And then in terms of somebody getting a hold of your social security number, who else is going to post it online and where else is it going to go? And the question is also, how do you remove yourself from the internet? There are data removal services. We've rated the top ones online at cyberguy.com that we follow. And then also, how do you then in the future know when these breaches happen? Of course, you can subscribe to our newsletter where we send out alerts, but there's even, better alerts that come from the companies that monitor if somebody is doing anything with your identity online. And those services, again, you have to subscribe to them, but there's some really good ones that are out there. They're not that expensive. Okay. And again, we rated the best of those. So watch your credit, watch phishing scams that come in your direction. If you didn't ask for it, don't click on it. It's those common rules.
Yeah. Kurt, I wanted to ask, because it just seems like, and maybe you agree, that we're seeing these massive data breaches and hacks with more regularity, more frequency, on a really more massive scale than we have before. Are you confident in the safeguards that are out there right now to prevent getting your data swept up into something like this? Are they strong enough, or do they need to be stronger?
Andrew, they need to be stronger, and it's a really good point you're making, because have you noticed, if you have an iPhone or you have an Android, you notice how quickly and how more frequently you're being pushed a software update that's kind of urgent when it happens, saying, hey, you need to update this. There's a security thing. We're not going to tell you what it is because we don't want to tip the hackers off, but you better update your phone. So when that's happening with this level of frequency, the question is, what are you doing to protect yourself? Because they're not protecting you from the big tech areas of the world, and our government certainly is not protecting us well. So it's really up to you and your family. So my advice is always this: what are you doing to make yourself resilient? The number one thing you can do is have antivirus protection on not just one device, not on like just one person's laptop in the family, but on every single device. And that way, that'll really bolster your ability to keep out these bad guys. For example, when you have good protection and somebody tries to get to you and say it's a phishing scam and it's a link and it looks so real and they're using AI, so we're getting fooled more regularly. Well, when you go to click that link, good protection will stop the link from even going through, because they'll have identified that. So it's really about, you're getting on a boat now and you know the boat's going to sink at some point. Well, you better have a life jacket.
Okay, what about the people who say, what would someone want my social security number for? Why do people want my data? Is that the posture to take when people are seemingly, they think, immune from anything like this? Even if they are caught up in a data breach like this, well, no one's going to do anything with it. What do you say to those people?
Number one reason they want our data, especially a social security number, is really financial. They want to take money from us in one way or another. It may not happen tomorrow, but they're going to build a database that then has some value, and they're either going to sell our stuff to somebody else in a big lump of other stolen stuff, or it has to do with espionage. It has to do with a foreign actor trying to get a hold of Americans' data in such a way that you could then understand, what would I need to say and do to get Andrew to act in a certain way? So that's happening to all of us. We don't know that it's happening because it's so well tailored using AI that, it's just like TikTok. We're clicking on videos because they know what we're going to click on, and they're showing us the videos where it's not like we went and fished out a video.
Right.
So it's those algorithms that aren't working necessarily in our favor.
Okay.
They may to entertain us with a happy cat video, but then it's really just too much information that's getting out there. And with AI, they can take the data, little pieces of our life, and put that together and really come up with something that's a powerful weapon against all of us.
All right, Shalom. I want to give all the praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai Bahasham Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who taught me this truth. Double salutations to all you Akim out there laboring, the house of David, the elect, that's pushing this word with all truth, righteousness, and sincerity. Shalom to you, brothers. And shalom to the elect. I'm back with another quick lesson through the Holy Spirit, the Rakakwadash. And I pray that this lesson is informative and also edifying. Jumping right into this thing, it says 2.7 billion records leaked in massive U.S. data breach. And they said that this is the largest data breach in history. All right. And this is a major problem, as they said, for all Americans. All right. Because all these things, as I go through these lessons, all these things are being intentionally done. All right. Remember, they had the cyber attack, the IT failure with the CrowdStrike, which affected hospitals, airports, grocery stores, banks. All right. So they're setting up the format for the ultimate transition. All right. Remember, they got to get rid of the old and bring in the new. So all roads, once again, lead to the M-0TB. All right. They have to come with a better system, if you will, that's going to, protect the so-called American people. All right. And this is the scheme that they're using. All right. As I want to touch on something because, there was a post from somebody that left a comment on one of my posts here. All right. This person at CEO 911, and he posted the link, which we're going to pull up here. He said, please watch from 14 minutes to 17-minute mark, where he's talking about where he's talking what the breach is leading to. All right, and this Social Security breach is going to lead to a new digital identification system, which is going to be the M-0TB system. All right, real quick, this is Proverbs chapter 22, verse 3, and it reads, it says, a prudent man foreseeth the evil. See that? A prudent man foreseeth the evil and hideth himself, but the simple pass on and are punished. Right. So a man of wisdom, a prudent man, is going to foresee the evil. We see, that this breach and these cyber attacks and these hacks and these data leaks are going to lead to a new system being implemented. All right. So it says foreseeth. Right. I just want to grab that word. It says to see, look at, inspect, perceive, consider. To see, have vision. All right. You got to have the vision. All right. It says to see, observe, consider, look at, give attention to, discern, distinguish. Right. So you have to have the discernment to see how this thing is getting ready to play out, man. All right. It's definitely leading to a new digital ID system, which is going to consist of this, everything being tied to the M-0TB. And I'm going to make a point on that from the comment that I got here from this brother that he left on my post. So let's just make this point real quick, just to show you that everybody sees the new digital ID system coming, which is going to be that M-0TB system. All right. So we're going to start here at 9 minutes and 56 seconds because he's going to explain, the outcome of this Social Security data breach that affected over, 2.7 billion Americans. This is a big deal. All right.
So you got a better understanding as to what's going on. Just real quick before we go into how the federal groups will deal with this, there's a couple of things you need to know. There's ways that you can establish legal grounds to go against basically a company that has essentially lost data that was tied to the federal government. There's breach of contract, there's negligence, there's violation of state and federal privacy laws, there's consumer protection laws, and then of course invasion of privacy against the Constitution. Now, with that said, class action lawsuits, that's what everybody uses in these situations because it's so massive. You'll all end up being part of it to some degrees, so long as you can basically, be accepted into it, or if they require it, potentially show harm that resulted from it, which, just so you know what a plaintiff must prove. The company had a duty to protect their private information. The company breached that duty. The breach directly caused harm to the plaintiff, and the plaintiff suffered actual damages as a result of the breach. Then you can get damages like compensatory damages, statutory damages, punitive damages. That's when they really screw up. And I think that's probably applicable here because they didn't tell anybody what happened. And injunctive relief. Okay. Those are the different types of options. Now, there is trial or settlement. Might go to mediation, might go to arbitration, might go to litigation, can settle at any point throughout the process. However, here's what's likely to happen. None of that stuff through the traditional court system. I think it will be picked up by, you guessed it, the Federal Trade Commission. As you know, in 2017, Equifax, right? Equifax, they had a big whoops, a huge whoops. Not as big as this one, but a big one nonetheless. Equifax data breach settlement. Important settlement update. The settlement administrator has begun sending out payments for out-of-pocket losses, time spent claims, and other cash benefits. You will get your payment in the method you choose by check, prepaid card, or PayPal payment. Here's the bottom line. In September of 2017, and we're mirroring off of this one because this is like a big breach, a big hack, a big leak, if you will. Not as big as the current one. The current one's just epic. The current one's, it's everything. You know what I mean? It's everything. It's like the Rosetta Stone of privacy information for all these different people. Like it's something you would expect to see on like the Blacklist, TV show where they're like, who has the magic list? This is the magic list. In September of 2017, Equifax announced a data breach that exposed the personal information of 147 million people. The company has agreed to a global settlement with the Federal Trade Commission, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, and 50 U.S. states and territories. The settlement includes up to $425 million to help people affected by the data breach. The deadline to file a claim was January 22, 2024. The settlement administrator continues to review the issue benefits for identity theft and fraud claims related to the breach. Even if you do not file a claim, you can get certain things included with it. But the bottom line is this, okay? I believe we are seeing the entrance opportunity of President Biden to go ahead and push for expedited adjudications, then seek attachment for the Federal Trade Commission to go ahead and step in and push for there to be a settlement where basically Jericho Pictures, along with the other groups involved that allowed this actual breach to occur, that they will have to go ahead and pay out a massive, massive sum of money, okay, that will ultimately, as a result of it, be just like a stimulus to most Americans, if not potentially all. Here's why this would be a stimulus. The idea is basically this. When it comes to money being paid to you, whether it's a COVID payment or it's some financial strain payment or it's some financial assistance loan payment, in this case, a breach of nearly every single American's social security number, name, alternate name, phone number, address, etc. In this instance, something this big could equate to basically having this federal group have a settlement where they go ahead and say, okay, every American is getting this much money. And if President Biden can push hard enough and push fast enough, he can get a settlement worked out with all agreements and groups. And then at the end of his presidency, which is certainly going to bolster VP Harris's opportunity to get voting potential, he'll be able to go ahead and potentially get them to pay out a check to every American. Now, let's say they pay out a check to every American and the check's only $100, the check's only $300, the check's only $600, whatever. It doesn't matter. It's still a stimulus in its form because it's stimulating the Americans considering the harm that was committed against them by this massive hack and leak of information. That is what I would say would be the ultimate move that Biden could go ahead and do. And legally, he's lined up to potentially have it set up so that the whole path of this thing for VP Harris, he can be promising a certain amount of potential money. And then as a result of that, he can go ahead and potentially, even after the election, win or lose for Harris, he can say, we got you this money. The Democrats did this for you. It's smart. And that's probably where this is going to go. It's also going to go in the direction of them having to create new digital identification systems for you. It could be a pill that you swallow. It could be an injection. It could be a fingerprint. It could be a palm print. It could be a facial scan. It could be any of those things.
Yeah, it could be a device that goes under the skin, all right, in the right hand or in the forehead too. You see what I'm saying? So with all of that being said, this is why these hacks, these cyber attacks are going on right now, because it's all being led to this. All right. All roads lead to the M-0TB, as he was saying. It can take an injection. It can take this. It can take that. No, according to the prophecies, we understand that this is going to be the new way of buying and selling. All right. This is the transition that we are entering into. OK, if that makes sense.
But the point is, this is very important. The point is they need a new identification system for all Americans now.
See, the point is that they need a new digital identification system for all the Americans. And what is that going to be? All right. Because remember, everything, America's cyber and financial infrastructure is vulnerable for attacks, hacks, things like that. So they have to come with a better way. And this is all being done on purpose to bring you this. You see, we're not ignorant of Satan's devices. We understand exactly what's going on. The whole talk of a cashless society, doing away with money, everything going digital. This is it right here. All right.
Because the master list, the ultimate list rather, is officially out there. And so the bottom line is, in my opinion, they're going to have to come out with something that a lot of people are going to hate, because that new thing is going to be even more government control right on top of you. All right, I will catch.
There you go. So it's just obvious, man. All right, we see exactly what's coming down the pipe. That's why we read Proverbs 22 In verse 3, a prudent man perceived the evil and hideth himself, but the simple pass on and are punished. We see it. Okay? We have the vision. We have the foresight, man. All right, Ezekiel 12 and Ezekiel 7 and 12. Let's read it in NLT. All right, this is Ezekiel 7 and 12. I was thinking about this too. Ezekiel 7 and 12 in NLT, it says, yes, the time has come, the day is here. Buyers should not rejoice over bargains, nor sellers grieve over losses, for all of them will fall under my terrible anger, because everything is about to change. How you buy and sell, how you conduct business, bartering is going to change all over the planet Earth. All right, buying and selling is going to have another meaning. It says, verse 13, even if the merchants survive, they will never return to their business. For what God has said applies to everyone. It will not be changed. Not one person whose life is twisted by sin will ever recover. Right. So the point is that this thing is on deck. All right. It's plain in your face. This is why this is happening. The largest data breach in history, and all these things are coming down the pipe. All right. Real quick. Psalms 140 in verse 8, and it reads, it says, grant not, O Lord, Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, the desires of the wicked, further not his wicked device, lest they exalt themselves. Salah. So the point, Esau's wicked device is really this is going to be this new world order under this new digital ID system, man. That all ties into his wicked device that he's trying to bring to pass. All right. So we see it coming. At the end of the day, I just wanted to put that out there. Everything is leading to the M-0TB. Just another lesson, highlighting this prophecy, because this is a very important prophecy that's getting ready to come to pass, which is going to change everything in the world, basically, So just wanted to put that out there. I pray that this quick lesson was informative and also edifying. I want to give all the praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai Bahashem Rakakwadash, and Shalom.